Shalom. We are in part 4 of the series of Orot HaMilchama, and now we're starting the second paragraph, where Rav Kook writes, Anu mistaklim b'dorot harishonim hamesuparim b'Torah b'Nevim u'b'Ktuvim. When we look back in the olden days, at the times of the Tanakh, of the Bible heroes, otam dorot shayu asukim b'milchama, those generations that were so preoccupied with war. And this is significant because for about 1900 years, Jews did not serve in the army because the Jew didn't fight with a sword, he fought with his passport. Because if it was good in Lithuania, we stayed. As soon as it wasn't good, we moved to Poland. Wasn't good in Poland, we moved to Germany. Wasn't good in Germany, we moved to America. And but when we look back in the Tanakh, we see that all of the Bible heroes were military heroes, were physically strong. Rav Kook says, Vehem hem hagdolim, these are the heroes with a capital T and a capital H. Shanu mityachsim elehem bididut ugdulat kodesh. These are the heroes of the Jewish people, really of all of mankind, who accepts the Bible. And when I learned this for the first time, I almost fell off my chair because it's so obvious, but most people don't notice. Just go quickly through the heroes of the Bible. Abraham, we just read last week in the Torah that there are five kings who were defeated by the 4 kings from the north. They're so strong they defeat 5 kings, and then they kidnap Lot, and Avram chases them and frees the prisoners and chases them all the way up to northern land of Israel. And I remember even in elementary school asking, why do we need an entire chapter telling me this story? And then we go on in Yaakov Avinu, if you remember the story, when he gets to Haran, and he is thirsty. He just had a long journey. And he comes to the well, and he sees a bunch of shepherds. It says there are 3 flocks of sheep. The Ramban figures out that must be at least 6 people. And he says, why don't you move the rock so we can drink? They said, it's too heavy. We have to wait for all the shepherds, and then we'll move it together. And Yaakov Avinu takes the rock, moves it away, let's drink. And the Ramban asks, why do we need to know this lesson? That Yaakov Avinu has strong muscles. And then we go further and we see that our name, the name of Israel, the land of Israel, the people of Israel, the sons of Israel, children of Israel, what is Israel? Well, Jacob's name was changed when he was wrestling with the angel, and the angel pinned him down. Jacob pinned down the angel, and he said, I won't let you go until you bless me. And the angel, and afterwards Hashem, God, gave his ishur, his stamp of approval, and he said, from now on you will be called Israel, which means Ki sarita im Elohim ve'im anashim v'tuchal, because you wrestled successfully with people, with angels. Moshe Rabbeinu. Our rabbis teach us that Moses was the most complete of all Jews. And lahavdil, when a writer presents a new figure, he thinks a lot of what's going to be the first impression of the reader. Agatha Christie, she thinks, what picture am I going to give you that's going to stay with you for the rest of the book? Now, God, obviously the Bible is not literature, but he knows that trick. And when he presents us our first meeting really with Moshe Rabbeinu as an adult, he sees an Egyptian beating a Jew, and Moshe Rabbeinu steps in and saves the Jew from the Egyptian. He risks and loses his career. He has to run to Midian, and he's no longer the prince of Egypt. Let's fast forward. At the age of 119, the last thing that Moses does is he conquers Sichon Melech HaEmori and Og Melech HaBashan. Now, Og is a giant. Moshe Rabbeinu is 119 years old. And the Torah says, Lo kahata eino velo naslecho. His vision was not blurred. His physical strength was still with him at the age of 119. Now remember, Og is a giant. Not only does Moshe lead the charge, where is the charge? Where is the Bashan? That's in the Golan Heights. Today, anybody who goes up to the Golan Heights usually takes a rakevel, a cable car. Moshe Rabbeinu climbs up while dodging arrows to conquer the Golan Heights at the age of 119. Now, notice we don't know what the heroes of the Bible, we don't know what they ate for breakfast. We don't know what they looked like. We don't know how they dressed, because that's not significant. So apparently, if the Tanakh goes out of its way to tell us that these were all military and physical heroes, apparently that's important for us to notice. Let's go on quickly. Joshua, the whole book of Joshua, conquering the land of Israel. The book of Judges, Shoftim. We don't know anything about almost any of the heroes. That's Otniel and Shamgar and Samson and Yiftach and Gideon. We don't know almost anything about them, but that they were military heroes. And down to King Saul, King David, maybe the greatest warrior in Jewish history, all the way down to the Maccabees. And what's interesting is that I would have thought the opposite. I've done this many times with different groups, especially children. I asked them to draw a picture of a gibor, of a strong person. And then I asked them to draw a picture of a tzaddik, a righteous person. And then I asked them to hold it up. And I ask, is it the same picture? It's very different. Because we davka have stereotypes that either you're all brains or brawn. Either you're very physical oriented or very spiritual oriented. And that just sharpens the question, why is it that all the heroes in the Tanakh are davka both? And Rav Kook in many places tells us that that is precisely the answer. Davka to break the stereotype. Davka to teach us that the ideal Jew is a healthy soul in a healthy body, just like the Kuzari writes. And why is this so important? Because you have to remember, in paganism, there's the God of the physical and the God of the spiritual. There's the God of strength and there's the God of beauty. Every God has his turf, and he's very limited. And when we talk in monotheism about one creator, he's the God of the heavens and the earth. He's the God of the physical and the spiritual. And this idea of unity is a central idea in monotheism, the idea that there is one creator. And Rav Kook goes on to say that now that we are returning to the land of Israel, the time has come to revive the original Bible heroes. Because for 1900 years, most Jewish heroes were 98-pound weaklings because the rabbis didn't serve in the army. We did not want to serve in the Russian or the French army. And the Jew did not work the land. But now that we're coming back to the land of Israel, Rav Kook says we have to rediscover, and he himself began a new type of yeshiva. Yeshivat Merkaz Harav, today that's also the Hesder Yeshivot, the Mechinot Kedam Tzvayot, which prepare yeshiva boys for their army service. These are the ideal Jews. Very often, I know religious Zionists think that the Haredim who don't serve in the army, maybe they're more religious. They're more the original type of Jew. And we have like this inferiority complex. And Rav Kook is telling us, no. The ideal Jew throughout the Tanakh is the ideal Jew as he is in the land of Israel. He is physically strong, he's spiritually strong, and the two don't contradict. He's the ideal person. Nefesh Bria Beguf Bari. Notice that also all the heroines in the Tanakh, they're all described as beautiful, physically beautiful. And anyone who isn't, there are rabbis, say that they were also beautiful. It's the same idea. Beauty and spirituality do not contradict. Shalom.